What if I told you that women can sense a man's weakness before he even says a word? Not because of the clothes he wears, the watch on his wrist, or the car he drives, but because of something far deeper. Something that radiates from within. It's in the way you stand, the way you hold eye contact, the way you carry yourself through a room. Before you even open your mouth, before a single word is spoken, you have already communicated everything about who you are. Most men don't realize this. They focus on external displays of status, money, fashion, a flashy lifestyle, thinking these things will make them more attractive. But women operate on a different level. Their instincts, sharpened over thousands of years of evolution, are trained to see past the surface and detect something far more important: strength. Not brute force, not aggression, but emotional resilience, leadership, and self-assurance. These qualities aren't loud, they don't need to be announced. But when they're missing, women can sense it immediately. Because when a man lacks these traits, it sets off a silent alarm in a woman's subconscious mind. She may not be able to put it into words, but she feels it. Something about you just seems off. Something isn't right, and that gut instinct, it's almost always right. But here's where most men go wrong. Weakness isn't about failure. It's not about making mistakes, getting rejected, or even facing setbacks in life. Every strong man has fallen. Every strong man has struggled. True weakness is about how you respond to adversity. Do you collapse under pressure? Do you constantly seek validation from others? Do your emotions control you, instead of the other way around? Do you drift through life without a sense of purpose? These are the real signals of weakness, and women recognize them instantly. So today, we're breaking down 7 ways women spot weakness in men, often before you even realize it yourself. Recognize these patterns, eliminate them, and you'll start to notice something interesting. Not only do women respect you more, but the world itself starts treating you differently. Let's begin. 1. You crave validation from others. Confidence is silent. Insecurity begs to be seen. One of the most glaring signs of weakness in a man is when he craves validation, when his self-worth depends on what others think of him. Women don't just notice this, they feel it, and nothing kills attraction faster. Because when a man needs approval, when he's desperate for reassurance, constantly seeking compliments, or anxious over whether people like him, it sends one undeniable message: he doesn't truly believe in himself. And if you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? This isn't just about dating, it's about how you carry yourself in life. If your sense of worth comes from external approval, whether it's likes on social media, praise from your boss, or a woman's attention, you are walking on unstable ground. How this shows up in real life. You constantly ask, "Do you think I did a good job?" instead of trusting your own judgment. You change your opinions to match hers, afraid that disagreement will push her away. You get restless, even anxious, when she doesn't text back immediately. Your mood swings based on how much external praise you receive. This is called an external locus of control, where your self-worth depends on forces outside of you. And when a woman senses that, she knows that at any moment, your confidence could crumble. Because true strength, it doesn't come from applause, it comes from within. The Stoic mindset, unshakable confidence. The philosopher Epictetus put it simply: seek not the good in external things, seek it within yourselves. A Stoic man doesn't chase approval, he holds himself accountable to his own principles, his own code of conduct, his own sense of worth. He doesn't need reassurance because he knows what he's capable of. He doesn't need constant praise because he judges himself by his own standards. He doesn't panic when someone withdraws their attention, because his confidence was never dependent on him in the first place. And that is magnetic. When a man validates himself, he stands apart, He carries a quiet power, an aura that tells the world, "I don't need you to believe in me, I already do." And that's the kind of presence women, and the world, respect. 2. You avoid conflict at all costs. There's a dangerous misconception that many men fall into, the belief that being agreeable makes you more likable. They think saying yes to everything, never pushing back, and always being nice will make them more attractive. They believe that by avoiding conflict, they're making themselves easier to love. But here's the truth: women don't respect men who can't stand their ground. When you suppress your own thoughts, opinions, and desires just to keep the peace, you don't come across as kind, you come across as weak. And weakness, it doesn't inspire respect, it doesn't inspire attraction, it doesn't inspire trust. This is what psychology calls submissive communication, when a man ignores his own needs, silences his own voice, and bends over backward to avoid tension. Over time, this doesn't just make you resentful, it makes others see you as someone who can be walked over. And the more you allow it, the more they will take advantage of it. How this shows up in real life. You agree with things you don't actually believe in, just to avoid an argument. You apologize excessively, even when you've done nothing wrong. You instantly back down the moment someone challenges you. You smile and nod in conversations, even when you completely disagree inside. At first, people might appreciate your agreeableness, they might even call you a nice guy. But over time, they lose respect for you. Because a man who never stands for anything will eventually fall for everything. The Stoic mindset, strength in conflict. Marcus Aurelius said, "The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane." Being a Stoic doesn't mean seeking conflict, but it also doesn't mean avoiding it. It means engaging in it with wisdom, calmness, and purpose. A weak man avoids difficult conversations. A strong man handles them with grace and confidence. A weak man agrees just to avoid making waves. A strong man expresses his truth, without aggression, but with conviction. A weak man fears that standing up for himself will push people away. A strong man understands that standing firm will attract the right kind of people. Because here's what you must understand: respect is worth more than approval. A man who knows when to say no, when to stand up for his values, and when to speak his mind commands a quiet authority. He doesn't seek validation, he doesn't fear disagreement. And that kind of man, women notice, people respect, and most importantly, he respects himself. 3. You let your emotions control you. A man who is ruled by his emotions is like a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly, pushed and pulled by the waves of his own feelings. And women, they can see it instantly. They are incredibly perceptive when it comes to emotional instability. It doesn't matter how strong you are physically, how successful you are financially, or how well you present yourself. If you crumble under pressure, it's a massive red flag. Because here's what most men don't realize. A man who can't control himself cannot lead. A man who cannot master his emotions cannot be trusted. And a man who reacts instead of responds will always remain weak. It's not just about anger or outbursts. Emotional instability comes in many forms: jealousy, insecurity, impulsiveness, desperation. These behaviors don't just make you look weak, they make you look out of control. And a man who is out of control, he is unstable, unreliable, and unattractive. How this shows up in real life. You get defensive the moment someone criticizes you. You overreact to small inconveniences, traffic, slow service, a minor disagreement. You get consumed by jealousy when she talks to other men, acting possessive and insecure. Your emotions dictate your decisions, instead of logic and discipline. At first, people might tolerate it, They might even find your passion or sensitivity endearing. But over time, it becomes exhausting. A man who is a slave to his emotions creates instability wherever he goes. The Stoic mindset: mastering yourself first. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most of the emotions that control you, they are exaggerated fears and illusions that exist only in your mind. That anger you feel, it's often misplaced. That jealousy that consumes you, it's a reflection of your own insecurity, not her actions. That anxiety about what others think, it's an illusion. You're not as important in their minds as you believe. Emotional mastery doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means acknowledging them, understanding them, and choosing how to respond. Because the truth is, real strength is quiet, real control is calm. A man who stays composed under pressure is far more powerful than a man who explodes in rage. A man who can hear criticism without breaking down is far more respectable than a man who lashes out. A man who can be around a beautiful woman without being needy or insecure is far more attractive than a man who constantly seeks reassurance. Control yourself, or be controlled by your emotions. Those are your only two choices. And the men who master this, they don't just gain respect from women, they gain respect from the world. 4. You talk more than you act. A lion doesn't have to tell you it's a lion. Its presence, its confidence, its actions make that clear. And yet, too many men fall into the trap of talking endlessly about their dreams, their goals, and their abilities, without ever proving them. They believe that if they just talk enough about their ambitions, people will be impressed. But here's the harsh truth: nobody cares about what you say you're going to do. People, especially women, only care about what you actually do. Women recognize this instantly. They've heard it all before: the bold declarations, the grand plans, the someday ambitions. And they know it's all just hot air. How this shows up in real life. You constantly tell people about your goals, but never take measurable steps. You exaggerate your achievements to seem more impressive. You make promises you can't, or won't, keep. You talk about the book you're going to write, the business you're going to start, the fitness journey you're going to embark on, but year after year, nothing changes. At first, people might believe you, they might even encourage you, but over time, they stop taking you seriously. Because words are cheap, action is rare. The Stoic mindset: silence over bragging. A true Stoic understands that power doesn't come from what you say, it comes from what you do. A strong man doesn't need to announce his success. He lets his work speak for itself. A disciplined man doesn't need to tell people he's disciplined. His habits and results make it obvious. A confident man doesn't need to declare his confidence. His presence commands respect. Talk less, do more, let results be your voice. The fewer words you need to express your value, the more powerful you become. So the next time you catch yourself talking about your plans, stop, go work on them instead. Because in the end, nobody remembers the guy who said he was going to do great things. They remember the man who actually did them. 5. You blame others for your problems. A man who refuses to take responsibility for his own life might as well wear a neon sign that says, "I'm weak." Nothing is more unattractive than a man who sees himself as a victim, a man who blames the world, his boss, his ex, his upbringing, or just bad luck, for everything wrong in his life. Because here's the hard truth: if you're always pointing fingers, you're never growing. How this shows up in real life. You complain about your job, but never take steps to improve your career. You blame your past relationships for failing, without reflecting on your own mistakes. You justify your lack of success by saying, "The world is against me." You talk about how unfair life is, but refuse to change anything about yourself. At first, people might sympathize, they might listen to your complaints and nod along, but over time, they get tired of it. Because a man who is always the victim is a man who is stuck. And women, they don't invest in men who are stagnant. The Stoic mindset: own your life, own your future. A strong man understands that his life is his responsibility, not his parents', not his bosses', not society's, his. If he's in a bad job, he works to improve his skills or find a better one. If his relationship fails, he reflects on what he could have done differently and learns from it. If he isn't where he wants to be in life, he doesn't waste time making excuses, he takes action. Because here's the truth: no one is coming to save you. No one owes you anything, and the world doesn't care about your excuses. A victim mindset keeps you powerless. Accountability makes you unstoppable. Women instinctively know that a man who owns his failures is a man who will grow. And a man who grows, he becomes more valuable, more respected, and more attractive over time. So ask yourself, are you complaining? Or are you correcting? Are you making excuses? Or are you making progress? Because in the end, no one remembers the man who spent his life blaming the world. They remember the man who took control and changed it. 6. You can't say number. A man who can't say no is a man without boundaries. And without boundaries, you have no self-respect. Women sense this instantly. At first, they may appreciate your agreeableness. They may even find it charming that you're so easygoing. But over time, they start to realize the truth: your inability to say no isn't kindness. It's weakness. How this shows up in real life. You agree to things you don't want to do, just to be liked. You let others take advantage of your time and energy. You avoid saying no because you fear rejection or disappointing people. You always put others first, even when it costs you your own well-being. And the result: people don't respect you. Because here's a harsh truth: if you don't respect your own time, energy, and values, why should anyone else? At first, people will take advantage of your kindness, but eventually, they'll lose all respect for you. The Stoic mindset: boundaries equals strength. A strong man understands that saying no isn't selfish, it's necessary. Saying no to distractions means saying yes to your goals. Saying no to toxic people means saying yes to your peace of mind. Saying no to things that don't align with your values means saying yes to a life of integrity. Why boundaries make you more attractive? A man who respects his time forces others to respect it. 2. A man who sets limits shows that he values himself. A man who doesn't fear rejection exudes confidence, because he knows his worth isn't tied to others' approval. If you struggle with saying no, remember this: every time you say yes to something you don't want to do, you are saying no to yourself. Women don't admire a man who is a pushover. They admire a man who stands firm, a man who knows what he wants, and isn't afraid to say no to what he doesn't. So next time you feel pressured to agree just to keep the peace, ask yourself, is this decision coming from strength or from fear? Because the ability to say no when necessary, that is the mark of true confidence and self-respect. 7. You have no purpose in life. The biggest sign of weakness in a man: a life without direction, a man who drifts, who wanders, who moves through life without purpose. Because here's the truth: a man without purpose is a man without presence. He doesn't inspire, he doesn't command respect, he doesn't stand out. Women are not attracted to men because of money, status, or fame. Those things come and go. What truly captivates them is something deeper: a fire that drives a man forward. A mission, a reason to wake up in the morning with intensity and focus. How this shows up in real life. You spend hours scrolling through social media with no real aim. You jump from job to job without any sense of career ambition. You prioritize short-term pleasure, partying, meaningless relationships, video games, over long-term growth. You go through life reacting to circumstances, instead of creating your own path. At first, people may not even notice, but over time, they forget you exist. Because a man with no purpose, he blends into the background. But a man with purpose, he is magnetic. The Stoic mindset, purpose is power. A Stoic man understands that life isn't about drifting, it's about direction. He sets goals, not just dreams. He builds, rather than just talks. He focuses on legacy, not just momentary pleasure. Why purpose makes you powerful? Purpose creates energy. When you have a mission, you move differently, you walk with confidence, you speak with conviction, and people feel your presence. Purpose creates discipline. It gives you something to fight for, something that makes distractions meaningless. Purpose creates attraction. A man who is driven doesn't chase approval. He is too busy chasing his vision. Women don't need a man to be rich, famous, or wildly successful, but they need to see that he is moving towards something. Because a man who is going nowhere, he will never inspire her to stay. So if you feel lost, drifting, waiting for motivation, stop waiting. Choose a purpose, start moving, start building. Because in the end, a man with no purpose is forgotten, but a man with purpose, he becomes unforgettable. Final thoughts. Strength comes from within. Attraction isn't just about looks. It's not about charm, height, money, or status. Those things may catch attention, but they don't hold it. What truly captivates people, especially women, is presence, confidence, purpose. It's the way you carry yourself, the way you move through life with certainty, the way you stand firm in who you are, without needing anyone's approval. Because the moment you master yourself, everything changes. You stop chasing validation, it comes to you naturally. You stop seeking respect, people give it to you freely. You stop worrying about attraction, because you become the kind of man who doesn't need to chase. Women notice it, people respect it, and most importantly, you respect yourself. Every strong man you admire, the leaders, the warriors, the thinkers, they didn't wait for the world to hand them confidence. They built it. Now it's your turn. If you're ready to take control of your life, to stop making excuses, to start living with purpose, begin now. And if you found value in this, like, comment, and subscribe. Stay grounded, stay disciplined, and I'll see you next time.